Hello everyone, myself Raj Lakshmi, AP Department of EEE, Karpagam Institute of Technology. Today our topic is the rise and fall of solar manufacturing. Globally, commercial work on photovoltaic started in the year 1960s. In India too. Solar was first discussed in the third five-year plan 1961 to 1966. By 1977, the country had made its first PV cell. In the year since, however, it has homogenized most of these early gains. A brief history of solar manufacturing. 1960. Commercial work on photovoltaic PV started. 1970. Oil shock due to the Suez crisis. More money flows into PV research. Trial project starts at Bell Labs, Mitsubishi University of New South Wales, etc. 1977. Central Electronics makes India's first PV cell. 1980. Oil costs like Shell. PB, the total setup PV divisions, partly to avoid being abused by technology. Supported despite running up losses. These divisions focus on R&D in India. Work in the solar sector focused on developmental applications like rural electrification and water purification. 1990. Oil gas procedure innovations like off-grid systems. In 1995, in India, companies like Moser Beer and Premier Energies come up. Beginning as a 5 megawatt solar module maker, the later focused on uses like village electrification. 2000. By 2000, solar R&D is driven by the US, Germany, Japan and Australia. China is nowhere in the picture. Now more than 6 companies globally make silica from sand. The biggest consumers are governments using solar for development projects. 2004. Germany being pushed up, rooftop solar countries like the UK and France follow. 2005. Germany gives out large licenses for ground-based solar. Spain and Greece follow. Other countries persist with rooftop solar, but ground being too slowly dominated. 2006. China's first solar installation, a 1 megawatt project atop 6 buildings in Shenyang, come up. By now, India has about 40 solar manufacturers and an installed manufacturing capacity of 4,000 megawatt. 2009. Old PV patents expire. China starts making polysilica. Till now, different companies have made polysilica ingots, modules, wafer and cells. Now, China creates integrated manufacturing complexes. 2013. Led by the Chinese, the price of PV falls. Realizing the Chinese are here to stay, oil cost sells them their tech. European solar manufacturing dies. The US moves into thin film technology. The movement to ground-based solar countries. Like manufacturers elsewhere in the world, solar equipment makers in India too ceded ground to the Chinese. The latter we better supported, not just subscribed land, labors and credit, but also support for export by their government. In contrast, India's MNRE was born from the Department of Science and Technology. They were all scientists, said Dwipin Bor, who oversees the India operations of Australian solar consultancy, Delhi-based Global Sustainable Energy Solutions. They did not understand taxation. They saw solar mostly as tool with application in rural areas, etc. Another reason materialized in 2015. riding on work done with over the previous 10 to 12 years, said Bharat Bhargava, a former director in the MNRE. India had set its target of 20 gigawatt in solar by 2022. A year after coming to power, Modi upped that to 100 gigawatt by 2022. It was an existing ambitious and a globally attractive number, recalled Broad. The local manufacturing sector could have grown like anything, but the raw materials part of the questions was not thought through. A tightrope had to be walked. Domestic manufacturers want protection in the form of import duties, said Bhargava. As for developers, they do not want any restrictions. The government needed to walk a middle path. Our policy, however, got skewed. India ended up, he said, with a duty on raw inputs but not on cells and modules. The finished product got cheaper. India went from a net exporter to a net importer. What we are seeing now is an attempt to recapture lost ground. Make in India. Under its Make in India push, the government has told CPSUs to buy solar equipment from local manufacturers. Under the rupees 34,422 crores Kusum program, which encourage farmers to shift from diesel to solar, departments have been told to buy local as well. Even the private sector is being nudged to buy local. The government has slapped duties on solar imports. At the same time, it has announced fresh subsidy for the manufacturing sector. Under the rupees 200 crore protection linked incentives scheme for intents, the sector was get rupees 4,500 crore. This might add as much as 10,000 megawatt to India's integrated solar PV manufacturing capacity. What does this mean for India's solar sector? Yes, slowing solar market in the part due to the crackdown on rooftop solar caps the sales scale manufacturing units can add. Most growth now has to come from ground solar. Its growth, however, depends on tenders from state bodies like NTPC and SECI. A market that depends on government tenders for growth will not have a rhythm, said Santosh Katsel, the former managing director of Enpark Energy, a Bangalore-based developer. Manufacturers will prefer to set up smaller units so that there is higher capacity utilization. With low scale come lower top lines and smaller R&D spends, making it harder for the country to leapfrog. The Chinese in terms of technology. In contrast, exporting to the world, Chinese manufacturers run plants with as much as 18 gigawatt of manufacturing capacity. If Indian unit have to buy local, they will end up paying higher rates. We might be 10 to 15% costlier, but given basic custom duty, we will be competitive, said Saluja. There is another possibility. In the next 12 to 18 months, the basic customs duty on fully integrated modules will go up to 40%, said Kalsel. For imported cells, this will go up to 25%. Once you add other taxes like GST, the increase will be close to 50% by the middle of 2022. Domestic players, he said, might hike prices to match these rates. Either way, solar cells and modules will cost more. Solar developers in turn will bid higher tariffs, driving up the cost of solar power. As for manufacturers, the Indian market already had a three-tiered architecture. Big firms selling to ground installation, medium ones focusing on rooftop, and smaller ones which mostly work in rural areas. The PLI seeking to push integrated PV manufacturing will focus on largest companies. No more than two or more firms will benefit from it, said Saluja. Smaller companies left out of the modified special incentives package scheme, which supports electronic clutters but excludes solar will struggle. Why are we doing this? In a sense, an old game is playing out. The Indian government is reappropriating subsidies. In the absence of much needed reforms, India's power sector continues to suffer from fundamental problems of viability, said IIT Delhi Professor Rohit Chandra. Discoms are struggling with liquidity and tariff revisions are infrequent and inadequate. As a result, most private players cannot rely on power purchase agreements and power markets alone to stay profitable. They have to rely on repeated injection of liquidity from the government through schemes like Uday and entities like PFC. The catch is the government's not deep-pocketed enough, he said. Given the Indian state's finite resources, this subsidy relocation jumps between various power adjacent sectors, upstream fuels like coal and gas, power generation, transmission, distribution, renewable energy panel manufacturing, etc. The outcomes are predictable. The unpredictability of knowing where the next subsidy will come from leads to scale and sprawl, said Chandra. Large companies integrated vertically to make sure that whether the subsidies kick in, they are one of the beneficiaries. As long as some arm of the Indian states is paying, you are injecting liquidity. You can use it to keep the rest of your power business afloat. Like Renew Power, in May this year, it announces a foray into solar manufacturing. But while the heavyweights expands and stay afloat, India's ad hoc policy place seems to be leaving smaller manufacturers and developers in the lurch.